Hey guys, it's Jeremy again, and I am back with another entry in the Life by the Square Inch video series, specifically dealing with another My 30-Day World, the challenge that has been put forth by the Absolute Tabletop guys in conjunction with their Dead Man's Guide to Dragongrin Kickstarter that is doing very well right now on Kickstarter. So today is day 7, question number 7, and the question is, how common are adventurers and heroes in your world? So I will be answering that question for the 7 settings that I have been discussing thus far. The first of which is Rostveen. Heroes and adventures are very, very common in Rostveen. Though it is an entire planet, a large portion of it is settled, and many of its cities are massive. So in between those places, there is still no small amount of wild territory and ancient ruins that monsters of all kinds call home. So there's always some kind of scheme or plot that needs dealing with. The second setting I'm going to talk about is Arath. The population of Arath is much smaller than Rostveen's by comparison. And with only a small handful of proper cities, this really leaves the majority of the world largely unexplored. And heroes are much more localized, and adventurers, those who would kind of strike out away from civilization, are really rare. But in Arath, monsters and bad guys aren't usually the only immediate threat. Here, the climate ends up killing most people who venture far from home. The third setting is Acid Rain. As I said before, heroes in Cadian's Keep are almost non-existent. To me, a hero usually is somebody that is willing to do the right thing in a situation when that's the most difficult choice to make. And most people that wind up being shipped off to these prison islands don't really fit that mold. So this is kind of a place where survival of the fittest is brought into sharp relief. And scruples can make the difference between life or death here. So holding to them sometimes is not the wisest decision. It's not what most people do here. But that being said, there is certainly no shortage of adventure that the inmates can get up to. The fourth setting is Dowrenland. In the beginning, Dowrenland was a place that's kind of general peace and tranquility, really. Most of the denizens, therefore, are kind of complacent, and they prefer to just keep a low profile to manage the status quo. There's certainly still conflicts and even border battles and things that dot the history of this place. However, recently, things have become more and more dire. Outsiders have shown the people of Dowrenland that they don't need to sit idly by while their oppressors take over. War is coming to the world of dreams. So, the fifth setting that I wanted to talk about is Caldera. There is plenty of opportunity for adventure in the Caldera, and no doubt about that at all. It's a land that is riddled with ancient ruins and buried arcane secrets that have been largely unsettled for hundreds of years. Heroes aren't always quite as altruistic as they may be in other settings, but this land carves hard people out of the dust and stone. And often, when push comes to shove, they answer with a hip iron or a well-timed spell. The sixth setting that I wanted to discuss is Chrome City. Adventure tends to look a little different in Chrome City because its massive urban sprawl lends itself better to investigation rather than exploration. But it certainly has enough secrets and hard-to-find places that keep the curious busy. Traditional heroes are a bit less common here as well, as most people tend to be kind of jaded and not very optimistic about the future. But sometimes there can be a few candles in the dark. The seventh and last setting that I'm going to talk about is Momentum. Momentum is a place where heroes and adventure are incredibly common. Faith and belief are both, in the mythology of this setting in particular, are both very strong focal points. And that tends to give people really strong ideals, I think, and ideals that they are willing to sacrifice for, usually. In a world that is filled with the remains of their long dead god giants, kind of complete with all of the secrets and the resources that they left behind, it really makes the setting very ripe for adventure. So that is day 7, question 7. How common are adventurers and heroes in your world? This has been another video of Life by the Square Inch. Once again, it is part of the My 30-Day World Challenge. And yeah, until next time, may your dice roll high and your snacks always be within reach.